It lives there. One of the best things about visiting his hometown for fall break was checking out all the old abandoned places around the small, dead town. Todd was obsessed with checking out abandoned places. He started getting into it when he saw his first abandoned home walkthrough on YouTube. Now, he wanted to earn YouTube fame by doing the same. It was so interesting to go through homes that were oddly untouched, but no longer inhabited. Of course, years of no one living in a place or caretaking will take its toll on a building. It's dirty and dusty. Things begin to rot. Sometimes cave in. But it's fascinating to look back in time and invade someone's once-used space. Ghosts of the past still wanted to be heard, and it was evident in what physical things they leave behind. There was a slight chill in the air that Friday night when his friends picked him up. Sal and Callista were in the back seat. Todd slid in the front passenger seat next to Leon, who was driving. "I've been wanting to check out the old house in the woods forever," Todd said as he fastened his seatbelt. "I know no one wants to go there, even in daylight," Leon added as they drove away. This 2-story house was rotting away in the middle of a deep forest. Hikers had always said it gave them an eerie feeling as they walked by. Rumors swirled about the ghosts that hid in there. Most of the windows had been long since broken, so wildlife and some brave people had ransacked the place, but it still held great mystery. It was said that if you walk by the house at night, you could hear inhumanly screams spilling out of it. It was enough to terrify anyone. Except Todd. Ever the skeptic, Todd never listened to the stories that went around. He just wanted to investigate an abandoned house and become YouTube famous. Investigating a scary local legend would be an easy ticket to stardom. He knew what viewers wanted. They wanted to see a creepy, abandoned place with the threat of something scary happening and being caught on film. Sal and Callista were nervously chatting in the back seat. They understood this would be the only way to spend time with their boyfriends on a Friday night, so they sucked it up and put on their bravest faces. There was also the possibility that they would be on a viral video. That was worth it right there. "I found a shortcut on Google Maps. If you park here, it's a short walk to the back side of the house," Leon said as he pulled into a dimly lit parking lot and parked close to a barricaded area. "Of course, it's trespassing," he added with a laugh. They all got out of the car, laughing along nervously. "We should be fine. It shouldn't take more than an hour to get the footage we need and then scoot," Todd assured them. "All right, let's get a move on," Leon said as he popped the trunk to get the video camera and to hand everyone a headlamp. After they all had secured the lights to their head and switched them on, they set off, stepping over the barricade and into the darkest part of the forest. Leon started filming as they walked. The light from the headlamps and the camera gave adequate lighting to reach the house without problems. It was a short descent down the hill, and they were at the back of the house. It was white with black shutters. Or it used to be. That was all that was visible. A gentle breeze blew and rattled about broken glass and shutters that were barely hanging on to the side of the house. Todd turned to address the camera. "Hey, what's up, guys? This is Abandoned Todd, and tonight we have a special Halloween treat for you. I am back in my hometown, and we are going through an old abandoned house in the woods that has been plagued with many stories of it being possibly haunted. Supposedly screams." Todd stopped short as a shrill-like sound came whistling out of the house in a spiral to the ears of the group. What was that? Sal stammered. Probably a bat. I will edit this out, Todd said under his breath. Anyway, so like I was saying, this house is famous in my hometown, and we are going to go through it and uncover the truth about whether or not it is haunted, Todd said before turning to the door. He braced himself for potential force that would have been used on a door that looked air shut tight. Much to everyone's surprise, the doorknob began turning on its own, and the door plunged inward in a forced motion. Is someone already in there messing with us? Leon whispered. Okay, I want to go home now. Callista grabbed onto Sal's arm. Todd? Sal looked to Todd for direction. It's okay, guys. The wind is just picking up, Todd said as he continued into the house. Wind doesn't turn doorknobs. Just saying, Leon muttered under his breath and followed behind. The girls reluctantly crossed the threshold of the decaying house. Oh my God, what the hell is that? Leon bent over, gagging, still trying to keep the camera upright. The smell in the air hung like a pesky fly. It smelled of rotting flesh. Rancid meat permeated to the point where no one could breathe. Sal began retching in the corner, and Callista patted her back with her sleeved arm pressing against her nose. Okay, guys, we need to make this a quick trip. We are not going to be able to stay for long like this, Callista said through gags. Just then, the front door slammed shut with the same force that opened it. Is the wind blowing back and forth? Leon asked as he looked at Todd. Todd went over to the door and tried to open it. It's stuck, Todd said, perplexed. That's some menacing wind, Leon said, trying to lighten the mood. It's not the wind. Something is very wrong here, Sal exclaimed as soon as she stopped vomiting. Okay, I get it. We are all spooked officially, but the camera needs to keep rolling and we need to hurry and walk through so we can get out of here, Todd announced. And find an alternate exit, Callista rolled her eyes. Everyone just follow me, Todd said. As you can see, there's a lot of garbage and broken furniture in this front room. There's a horrible smell throughout. I am guessing that there are some dead animals all scattered throughout the house with as bad as the smell is, Todd said as he walked through to what appeared to be the kitchen. It looks like the family that lived here must have left in a hurry. There are still dishes on the counter and at the kitchen table. It's like they were having a meal and decided to leave. There's a lot of trash here as well, probably from looters or teenagers hanging out here. They moved to the staircase. Well, onwards and upwards. Be careful, a step is missing, Todd pointed out to the others as they had to hop over the gap to get up the step. Callista was the last one up. She heard a rustling noise behind her. Thinking it was a rat, she jumped and turned. She noticed to the side there was a sliding door. Oh, Todd, there's a back porch on the side, Callista said as she turned back toward the group, ascending the staircase. Good news, Callista, Leon said, still filming away. It looks like, up here, we only have one bedroom and one bathroom, he said as he entered the bathroom. The tile was cracked and broken in various places. Pretty standard bathroom, sink, toilet, shower. Let's see what's in the medicine cabinet. Todd reached up and opened the mirror door, revealing a black, hairy spider. He jumped and shut the door back. Well, that was creepy, wasn't it? He chuckled. He headed out of the bathroom and into the bedroom. All right, the bed is still here in the small bedroom. Like the other rooms, there is a ton of trash and a rancid smell. We have all just about had as much as we can take, Todd said, turning to the door. Todd? Sal said quietly. Yep, Todd whirled around, hoping she found something, as it was turning out to be a real bust of an investigation. Sal was shaking as she pointed to the lump in the bed. Surely that wasn't a body. Todd bravely approached the bed. The lump was covered up with a dusty, moldy blanket. He slowly pulled the cover back to reveal a headless, decayed human body. "All right, time to go," Todd screamed and retreated out of the room. The others followed quickly behind. One by one, each jumped down the steps and toward the sliding door. Sal forgot that there was a gap in the stairs. She was so terrified. She tripped and her leg got stuck in the gap, cutting her deeply in the process as the wood was broken and sharp. As the others were making it to the porch, they turned as soon as they heard Sal scream. Leon stood in the doorway, filming as Todd turned to help Sal. Callista hid behind Leon. Todd looked down at Sal's leg. There was a large piece of wood from the broken step stuck in her leg, and it was in there, deep. "Callista, can you call 911? He yelled back. "Sure." She pulled out her cell phone and began dialing. She managed to get out of the door, off the porch, and outside to boost the signal. Todd held Sal's hand and helped calm her fears. "Callista is getting help. You're going to be fine," Todd reassured her. Just then, the shrill squeal echoed throughout the house once again. "Man, there it is again. We need to get out of here, Todd." Leon was starting to panic. "We can't, Leon. She's stuck. We can't take the wood out. It isn't so deep she would bleed out. We need help." "We are going to get in so much trouble for this," Leon said, upset. "Come on, Leon. We aren't in high school anymore. What are our parents going to do?" Todd was trying to calm Leon now. "No, not our parents. We are over 18, man. I don't want to go to prison for trespassing, breaking, and entering," Leon spat out. "First off, I don't think you could go to jail. It would just be a fine. And second, there are no signs up that say no trespassing," Todd told him. "We stepped over a barricade to get here," Leon reminded him. "Yeah, but it didn't say no trespassing. Also, it's probably a barricade to keep cars from driving on the land," Todd said as another scream bellowed out. Whatever it was, it seemed to be getting closer. Todd looked down at Sal. Sal was passed out cold. He knew it was getting to be an emergency. "Good news, guys. Help is on the way. They said it would probably be about 10 minutes at the most. They are in the area," Callista came in to announce. "We might not have 10 minutes. Todd was looking up horrified. Callista and Leon also looked up. To everyone's horror, a giant creature was perched in the corner of the ceiling. It looked half human, half giant bat. It screamed again to show its massive teeth. The creature was eyeing Todd. Everyone was paralyzed. No one could move or speak. It screeched once more before expanding its enormous wings and swooping down to bite Todd's head off clean. His body fell forward on top of Sal's. Leon and Callista screamed, bolting out of the door. Leon dropped the camera in the process. The creature stood up on 2 feet and followed after them. The camera was still rolling. You could hear their screams and the sound of flesh being torn apart. There was a clear shot of Sal and Todd's headless body on top of hers. The creature hobbled back in to feast on their bodies. Suddenly, gunshots rung out as the police had just arrived. Several rounds were needed to kill the creature. When it was finally dead and slumped over, a police officer turned and discovered the camera. Picking it up and looking into the lens, he muttered softly, I'm gonna be YouTube famous.